Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, Facebook. Let's get this sip of water before we get into the show. Let me give it a couple minutes and see if we can get some folks in here. And let me go on over here to Facebook and make this thing public so that I can see the comments rolling through on Facebook. You know what? Let me just do it through my phone. I'm going to make sure privacy. Edit. We're going to make this public so I can see y'all's comment from Facebook. And let me check my audio. Privacy. All right, so I can hear myself. We're good to go. And we're going to get into the show. If you are watching from Facebook, there's a link up top. Go ahead and click that link to go over and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There you will get notifications when we go live. And you can also look at our previous content that I do. So definitely go over there to YouTube and subscribe. And the link is up top. So what we're going to talk about first, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. What we're going to talk about first, let me open my comments up here. Keep that open. What I want to talk about first, guys, is Governor Kemp's COVID-19 update. So Governor Kemp today did a update on the COVID-19 situation. He actually gave a lot of information. I must say, he came with his facts today, and he really gave us a lot of information. So first things first, he gave us, at least he gave me, a little bit of reassurance on the testing side. Last week, the numbers were down 64% in the positive cases. He has 49 test sites now. 49 test sites, and he talked about the critical care beds. And I think that that's important because this whole reason for this pandemic, or the whole reason for the shutdown, was to give relief to the medical. So I think that if we continue to see numbers that we're seeing, Georgia may be a little bit more safer than we thought when he first introduced that the state will open back up. So I was reassured to know it was the numbers were down by 64%, and having 49 test sites throughout the state of Georgia definitely helps. I actually was in Morrow today, and I saw one of the testing sites. It's literally right in front of Clayton State. So if you live in Morrow, that would be the testing site there. I will give you the website that you can actually go to, and you can actually schedule your testing. I'm going to put that on the screen here in a second. And it seems to be pretty easy now. So he said on his thing here, go to this website. Do I need a COVID-19.com? What's supposed to be, do I need a COVID-19 test.com? Maybe if that don't work, do test after the 19. But I think that's exactly what he said. Also, he gave numbers on the ventilators. The ventilator use is declined, is down. 1,800 ventilators are available out of the 2,400 in the stockpile for the state of Georgia. And the shelter in place is still in effect until April 30th. I have no idea how we can shelter in place and still go get your haircut, still go to the nail salon. So to me, I feel like that is a huge contradiction. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that the governor did a pretty good job today in the briefing? I think he definitely made a fool out of himself last week. He was pretty much Charlemagne the God on the Breakfast Club would call him the donkey of the day. But last week, he really made a fool of himself with the selections that he opened up. Obviously, time will tell when it comes to people being infected. Typically, the numbers don't bear out until like a week or two after. So in 2 more weeks, we'll determine and we'll be able to see if what Governor Kemp did was detrimental to the numbers in Georgia. The general public will assume that it will be. I mean, here's the thing: if with the COVID-19 being so infectious and so contagious, it's only a matter of time that it's going to spread when people are out and about. But here's a question that I pose to all of you guys that are watching me, and definitely feel free to throw in something in the comment box. I should be able to see the comments on Facebook now. I'm gonna pull up my Facebook feed so I don't have any comments. So feel free to throw a comment in there. Let me know what your thoughts are. I want this to be interactive if you are watching. But what is the difference from going to the grocery store versus going to the barbershop? Well, one of the differences is at a barbershop, you have to sit there for like at least 30 minutes. Now, my barber, as you guys can see, I'm rocking an afro because I haven't did anything to my hair since we went on lockdown. But at any rate, what's the difference between going to the grocery store and going to the barbershop? Well, one of the main differences is you sit in the barbershop longer than you do grocery shopping, in a sense. Now, if they're telling you to go to the store once a week, then you're probably spending some time in the grocery store. So what is the difference between catching the corona virus at the grocery store opposed to the barbershop? That's one of the differences, one of the, I guess, the comparisons that Governor Kemp made. And I mean, that really calls you to think, you know what I mean? It calls you to think, what is it, you know? But I've really felt in Governor Kemp's briefing today, I felt like he gave a lot of information. It was an hour-long press conference. You can Google it. You can watch it. He also talked a little bit about why he opened the state a little bit more in depth than he did last week. He talked about his friends that he was actually helping in the process who wanted that choice. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like I said, we will see if that choice bears itself out to be a good decision or a bad decision. We'll see that in a couple weeks. At the end of the day, we will see that in a couple weeks. I saw your comment, Anta, but there's nothing there. But I do see that you come, so it is coming through on Facebook. All right, we got another one. No one has to touch me in the grocery store. If I went to the barbershop, they are touching your face and breathing directly on you. That is true. That is true, and the proximity is closer. Okay, that is a difference of going to the grocery store versus getting your hair cut. Yeah, that is a difference. I asked the question, gave me the answer. I haven't went to the barbershop yet, and I am debating. Like I said, I want to see what the numbers bear out. And here's the thing: if you have on a mask, because I feel that at some point we're gonna have to coexist with COVID-19. I know that sounds crazy, but there will come a point where we have to coexist and we have to find a way to live with this virus versus being in shelter from the virus. So I think that the governor is definitely trying to move in that direction. Now, whether or not it's a good decision or a bad decision, that will bear out in time. But let's talk about another topic. Movie theaters open. Now, that is something that is very interesting to me because I didn't think the movie theaters were going to open this fast. Like, I knew he was going towards the barbershops and the open dining, but the movie theaters are open. Who's going to go watch a movie? Who's going to go watch a movie? So, yeah. Anta says a lot of these places aren't going to keep up with the cleaning and proximity guidelines. Yeah, I mean, people right now are already breaking the 6 feet rule. Anytime you go somewhere, every time you go somewhere. So I think that's going to be a very interesting concept to follow. I'm going to open up the conversation too and allow you guys to join the stream. If you click on this link, you can come on the chat. It is in the chat box, and I will go ahead and put it up here. You can click on that and you can come into the studio and come on screen with me. Shanice is here. Hey, Shanice, how you doing? You finally made it live. The last one I did, there was no audio. So thank you for coming back. All right. Are tanning beds open until they do stay home? Are tanning beds open until they do? I don't know. Run that question back to me again, Mr. Carter. I don't quite understand that one. But are you guys going to the movies? Are you guys going to go see a movie? You know, like I said, some people are just trying to learn how to coexist with COVID-19. I think it's interesting. But let me know if you guys are going to the movie theater. Also, like I said, feel free to come on and talk to me. Another topic I want to talk about is 2 Chainz open Escobar. Well, he opened Escobar and closed Escobar all in the matter of 24 hours. So 2 Chainz announced on the 24th, I think he announced on Friday that he would be reopening the restaurant on Monday. And then today, 7 hours ago, he came out and said he will not be opening Escobar. Now, that was a very interesting conversation because Escobar is a lounge. It's not, I mean, to me, well, here's the thing. They call it what do they call it? Let's see, a restaurant and tapas. That's what that's what it's named. But I've been there, and I mean, they play live music. You barely have anywhere to sit. I mean, they have a little row, but for the most part, to me, is ran as a lounge. So basically, this would be straddling the fence of having a bar open, you know? So I think that is a good reason. It's good that he actually changed his mind of that, because I don't think that would have went well. But a lot of people got upset with 2 Chainz when TMZ came out with the story that he would be reopening the restaurant. And both locations will open their doors on Monday, according to TMZ. The restaurant was previously only doing takeout services during the Georgia shutdown. Staff, so this is what they initially said, staff will be having their temperatures checked before shifts. Employees must wear gloves. Cooks must wear masks. That's interesting. So the waiters don't have to wear masks in their statement, but that was kind of crazy. Patrons will be given paper menus. 2 Chainz business partner Snoop Dogg told the site, any symptomatic employees must self-quarantine for 14 days before returning back to work. Well, we've been quarantined already. I mean, we've been quarantined for a year. That's what it feels like. But he said that the move to reopen the eatery after they had an 80% furlough on their staff, the sales had reportedly dropped 95% during the shutdown. Yeah, that brings up a good conversation. How many of y'all are still eating out? You know what I mean? How many are y'all are still eating out? I'm going to go back to the chat now. We got some messages in here. And I should have been checking this earlier because I don't want to get too far, and then your comments don't make sense. Shanice Cornelia said, because white folks the only ones who use tanning beds. That is true. We don't need them. Definitely not going to the movies. Okay, she's not going to the movies. Are folks that look like you and me going to the tanning salons? Nope, that is true. And that's a good thing to bring up, Ms. Carter, because a lot of people tried to turn this into a race issue when the governor opened up certain things. So I feel like, you know, yeah, the tanning salons definitely were not to kill Black people, because we don't go there. The Governor Mansion is still closed for tours. Yeah, the Governor Mansion is still closed for tours. And that's very interesting too, because I feel like if you're going to open the state up, then why are you closing the mansion? You know what I mean? Like, if you're telling people it's safe to go out and about to the barbershops and to the nail salons and to all of these other places that you're opening the movie theater, why are you closing the people's house of Georgia when it's safe? That's a good question to have. It's a good question to have. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, but I just make sure you want to see.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how far away was. It's a pretty big.
Okay.
Like
heck no, I'm not going to the movies. Okay. There was one more comment up here. Yeah, a lot of comments. Keep them coming, folks. Keep them coming. Thank y'all for watching. Marcus Reagan said 2 Chainz show great restraint and social responsibility. I think so. I think he really was trying to get that restaurant open, for sure. I mean, the statement bears it out, and you know, but I think with 2 Chainz, it would have been very difficult for him to open that restaurant and keep it. Keep it in standings. So I can't talk to you if I'm live, babe. The people who are spreading it are non-symptomatic. That is correct, and that is the crazy part about it. It's about the economy. That's true. The economy. I mean, you know, for me, I am so torn because I have 2 businesses that I opened with my bare hands, with my grit, with my determination. And I don't want to see any of those businesses fail due to the coronavirus. So I think there has to be a good balance between logic and, between keeping the economy strong and doing our best to keep people safe and keep people well. But there has to be a balance. The people who feel sick or staying home, it's the ones who are not feeling sick that are spreading it. Okay. I don't think it's so much a race thing as an economic class thing. Okay. And I'm getting to these comments late, guys. I'm sorry about that. All right, this is a long one. The people who work at the places they want open are barely making minimum wage. The people who are demanding we reopen the economy don't want to go to work. They want to have access to their amenities. Okay. All right. And Shanice, you ought to just come on the stream. You ought to just click on the link, and the link is in the comments. Let's see if it went to my comments at the top. If you go back to the comments on Facebook, okay, I guess I can't see, but I'm gonna put it up again. Shanice, come on up and get on the screen. I think you may want to say all of these things on the live. Let me put the link up here, and you can just put this in your browser and come on up here. And anybody else who want to come on the screen and come up here and talk to the rest of us that's in the chat. Oh, her hair ain't done. Lord have mercy. All right, that's fine. Moving right along from 2 Chainz, we're going to talk a little bit about. What else was it? The testing. So, how many of you guys are going to do the antibody test? So, I got a letter in the mail that said that I can come and get an antibody test. One of the good things. The interesting things, in my opinion, and I'm going to put that up there. One second, folks. All right, so what do y'all think about the antibody testing? So I got a letter today from I guess it's called Eagles Landing Family Practice or something like that. And they're actually offering the antibody testing to anybody who's scheduling an appointment. Now, when you do the research on the antibody testing, and I think one of the things that's misleading to the general public is that the perception that if you came in contact with COVID-19, you can have antibodies to protect you from getting COVID-19 again. Well, the CDC says that that's not 100% proven, number one. And number two, even if you have antibodies, it may not be enough to actually stop you from contracting the virus. It may just stop the virus from being maybe as aggressive as it would be in someone who may not have the antibody. So I think the media is doing an interesting, they're not doing a good job with telling you that that the antibody test is not 100% fail-proof. It's not 100% that you will not get COVID-19. Also, I want to read this statement here. The Georgia Department of Public Health issued a statement stating from April 28th through May 4th, teens will be visiting randomly selected homes in Fulton and DeKalb County to ask resident questions about their health and to collect blood samples for an antibody test. How about that? Antibodies are protein the body makes in response to the infection. The antibody test can tell us whether a person might have had a past infection with the virus that causes COVID-19. The antibody test is not meant to diagnose whether a person has COVID-19 now. And all members of the household selected will be asked to participate, including children. Participation is voluntarily and can ask investigation and you can ask an investigation team any questions you have before agreeing to participate. If your home is selected, please consider participating in this important investigation. You can help us learn more about COVID-19. So if you live in Fulton or DeKalb County, you can expect to get a knock on the door, potentially, depending on where you live in those two counties, between April 28th and May 4th. I think that's a good thing. And here's why I say I think it's a good thing for us. In order to come out of this pandemic, in my opinion, we have to figure out how widespread the virus is. Right now, we are thinking and we have to act as if everybody has the virus. Oh, crap. I'm messing up my comments. I'm going to go back to the comments and then we're going to talk about that. Sorry, guys. I'm learning how to use this whole new system here, so it's taking me some time. Answers tells Carnice to put a wrap on it and come on up here. Maybe, but I don't want to. Okay. I'm going to try to filter out the comments that actually only make sense for everybody. I think people who have symptoms can't get the COVID-19 test. I think the people who have symptoms and can't get the COVID-19 test will go there just to get some type of test. Okay. They haven't confirmed that you cannot be reinfected with the virus. That's correct. They definitely won't be answered if they come to my door. Well, you live in Clayton, so you may be good. What's wrong with taking the antibody test with the people at the door? Answer says, oh, heck no, they would be treated like Jehovah. Now, if they come up in here, I want to get an antibody test. I think that it's a good idea. Now, here's the thing. Make sure that you see them take the needle out of the pack. They take the needle out the pack in front of you. And you know what I mean? They're getting your blood to and they probably don't even do a needle. I think it's a prick. I think it's a prick on the finger that they have to do. I won't be a part of any experiment. Well, you're already a part of the experiment, whether you want to be or not. You're already a part of the experiment. Everybody in the United States is a part of the experiment if you want to come from that standpoint. Because I feel like we're all staying at home for the most part. You're not going, you say you want to go to the movie theater. So, yeah, that's a part of the experiment as well. Keeping you sheltered at home with a false perception of reality that as long as we stay at home, we'll get through it. I believe that put the link back up. Okay, I done riled up some feathers. She might have come and regulate y'all. There's the link, Shawnee's. It's also in the. I wish it would be clickable. Yeah. So that's the link there. You can come on up. Go back to any comments. So that's pretty much. That's what I have today, guys. Also, I wanted to talk about Michigan rolling back their restrictions, the governor. So in the state of Michigan, it was so interesting because the governor 2 weeks ago was so hard on her people in the state of Michigan. And only thing they wanted to do was to do some of the activities that they were accustomed to doing. I don't think being in a boat, on your own boat, in your own environment is somehow high risk for you contracting or infecting someone else. I don't agree with that. I do agree that we have to give people the right to choose what it is that they want to do at this point. I mean, we have the COVID-19 stuff started. It started back in, let's see, when did we get officially locked down, guys? I think it was at the end of March. We got locked out at the end of March, and here we are at the end of April. It's only been a month, and people are just going crazy. They keep protesting. She's going to keep delaying. Yeah, well, actually, yeah, they probably will. But is it really the governor's prerogative? If you live in America, America is the land of the free. The land of the free. That's all I'm gonna say. It's the land of the free. So I mean, that's where people are so upset. That's why people are so upset, because you can tell people stay at home, shelter in place for 4 weeks, and then let's see where it goes. But when that keep getting extended weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, you start to get some folks mad. And so that's what happened in the state of Michigan. But here's what she did do. She allowed them to go boating, but she did extend it for 2 weeks to stay-at-home order. But like we're here in Georgia, we have a stay-at-home order, but you can still go to the movie theater. You can still go to the barbershop. You can still go to the nail salon. So what are we really doing in the state of Georgia as it relates to a stay-at-home order, shelter-in-place order? And he did say, Governor Kemp did say on his press conference today that the shelter-in-place is still in effect to April 30th. Still in effect to April 30th. I have left my home a couple times, going out to Ingles, and my business is still open. My business is still open in Alabama. Things are a lot different there than they are here. My sales manager, I have a very small car lot, so we may see 2 or 3 customers a day. So it's not that bad. All right, we got Shanice here with us right now, and so I'm gonna go ahead and tie her into the chat. Hey, Shanice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Excuse my my situation. Y'all know the hair salon is closed and stuff.
Hair salon is closed, no problem. Let me
hold on.
Let's see here.
Okay, so I missed some of what you were saying. But hold
All right, can you still hear me? No, she can't hear me anymore.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna have my headset in. So what you gotta say, Shanice? What's your thoughts on the matter?
We gotta go back. So you
okay? Where do you want to start?
And you gonna let them test you?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. What's wrong with them testing you? So we're at
the Tuskegee experiment.
I have, but okay. So I think that if we look at everything from a conspiracy theorist standpoint, right? Because the Tuskegee experiment wasn't proven.
Not a conspiracy. Yes,
it was proven. Okay, so,
evidence.
Hey, you got my ignorance to that point there. I don't know. I haven't done a whole lot on that, but I do believe. So you don't believe in vaccinations or any of that for this?
I do believe in vaccinations. I don't believe in being the first person to get vaccinated.
Okay, all right. I think that
test that on somebody else.
Right. I think that there's a point to that. But I think that if we're at home, right, so we're all sheltering in place for them to come out with some type of resolve, right? And then when the people come out with the resolve, then the people say, well, I'm not going to be a part of the experiment. You're not going to take my blood. You're not going to test me. You're not going to. So then what's the point of all of this if we as the citizens of America isn't going to cooperate with the process?
Cooperate with the process. I think that there are ways that they can do it. They start off vaccinations in animals. They don't start with humans.
Okay.
They start testing things in like horses, apes, mice. You don't start with people. I think that.
Well, I think that
premature, and I get that this is very devastating, and it's happening.
I think that I hear your point, but okay. So with that being said, if you say we start with animals and humans, we'll start with animals, then that means we're going to be at home forever, right? Like 12 months, right? A normal routine vaccination is like what they
would
say,
you
12
want
months.
to wait for 12 months, or would you want to be the guinea pig in an experiment?
Or you wear your mask and you go out and you do your business.
You're not going to have a choice but to do that anyway. You're going to take a gamble because nobody, I know I can't afford to stay home forever.
Okay. Right.
I have a job. I haven't been able to stay home anyway. My job has been considered essential. So if I don't go to work, I don't get paid at this point.
Right.
So I have to go to work. And I understand that a lot of people are in positions where they've been laid off. And this is really putting a lot of strain on them financially, socially, emotionally. The kids are suffering. I get all of that. But I think that it's a lot easier to just do what we need to do, stay in place because once the virus runs out of hosts, it's gonna go away. The problem is that we've never properly quarantined. We've never we didn't and it's harder on our scale, admittedly. Italy is a much smaller country, it's less populated, but they did quarantine right and it worked. You stop everything. Nothing. Nowhere. There's nowhere to go. You don't need to be on the street, period. 2 weeks. Once you do that, the people that are gonna get sick, that already have it, will get sick. And the hospitals will have the capacity to deal with those people. And once they're fine, the virus dies. There's no one else to go to.
Right. Well, according to our governor, we have the capacity at the hospitals. You don't believe that?
No, I don't.
You don't believe that?
I don't believe anything. No, because at this point, the government no longer wants to pay these stimuluses. They don't want to pay. It's about the money. They don't want to pay. The businesses that had the insurance that was called interruption insurance, I think it was what it was called, now no longer qualify if they're able to open but choose not to. How is that right? It's not
right.
And now they have to choose between opening up their businesses, putting their employees and themselves at risk, or going bankrupt.
Well, from my understanding with the state of Georgia, the state unemployment benefits are still eligible if you choose to stay at home. I don't know about the federal level. That's what you're talking about, the payroll protection thing?
Yes, but not just for the employees, the business owners. Like you're a business owner yourself. So
right.
If you decide that, hey, listen, I'm not going to risk it. If you did qualify for, I think it was called interruption insurance. It's basically like keeping you from defaulting on any rents that you pay to how, like wherever you physically have your business.
Okay, no, what you're talking about, so you're talking about that the business owner would have already had on their business before this whole pandemic thing. You're not talking about something that the federal government actually started.
Oh no, yes, it was something that they already had, but they cannot collect on.
I'm familiar with that.
They're able to open.
Right.
So
the insurance will no longer
be able to open, but should they? Just because you can do something, should you do it? And then if they do open, are they going to even have employees to run the place? Like it's silly.
Right.
And you're forcing people to choose between a paycheck and their life.
Well, I think it goes back to your initial, one of your initial statements of you can't stay at home forever. You still have to provide, right? So I think my whole philosophy on this thing is finding the balance, right? So I think the federal government should be the balancer to make sure everybody is sustained and can properly quarantine. One of the analogies that I used before is you can't expect someone to build a house without giving them wood or nails, right? I mean, it's impossible. So I think that right now we're seeing that. And I think that's where the governor of Georgia is trying to eliminate the actual burden of being forced to stay in quarantine without the sufficient equipment to do so. Financials are required to survive.
And I guess that's above his head. And the fact that they should be doing what a lot of other countries are doing is providing that financial assistance to their country. We're supposed to be to their people. We're supposed to be the richest country in the world.
Right. Anta says our government has failed us.
There's no reason why they should not be able to sustain people and allow them to properly quarantine. But they don't want to kick out the money.
Right. Right.
It's plain and
And
simple.
you,
They don't want to kick out the money because you see how quick stuff started opening up once they start talking about that $2,000 stimulus a month for like 6 months or whatever.
right,
They was like,
right,
"Oh no, we ain't doing that.
right,
We
right,
ain't doing that. So let's get these people back to work. And if they die, they die." That's what basically the governor of or the mayor of Las Vegas was trying to open up the casinos.
right. I saw that
But in
interview.
that town, that's a huge source of employment. Almost everybody works at the casino if they're working class people. So you're
Right,
talking about thousands, if not millions of jobs. I don't know how populated Las Vegas is, people who actually live there, but
right,
you got to think the housekeepers, the people that work in the actual casinos, the dealers, the car dealers, and whoever else. That's thousands of people just in one hotel
right,
that are now not working, and $1,200 is not going to cut it for them.
right, right. Well, one of the things that that mayor said that stood out to me is she said that I think their infection rate was really low, like really low in Nevada or Las Vegas, in particular. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that we're all in it, you know, together. But at the end of the day, you are not advocating anybody testing, or are you just saying people knocking on your door to see if you have
Let
been
me volunteer. Let me volunteer. Don't come to my door asking
right?
me to stick a swab up my kid's nose. You might get smacked.
Right. I hear you. Right. I think we'll have to agree to disagree. I think if you can get, because you got to think, you got elderly people, you got people without proper transportation, you got people that can't get to the facilities to actually do the antibody
Then
test.
set up a
And,
hotline. Let them call you till they door. Don't come knocking on my door.
right, right. I hear you.
Because
All
they're
right.
gonna be all gowned up, masked up,
Uh-huh.
and they're gonna knock
Yeah.
on your door. Hey, sir, can we just what?
I
No,
got you. I hear you. I hear you.
that's a
I
no.
hear you.
And antibodies, like you were saying, an antibody is just like the same thing that they give you when they give you a vaccination. They put a little bit of
Mhm.
the virus, so you could have come in contact with that virus and gotten some antibodies, but that doesn't mean that you won't get the virus again.
Right. No,
It
yeah,
could
absolutely.
it
But
could
I
just
think
mean that it won't be
the
deadly
reason
to you.
the reason I think the antibody testing is important is because if you know or if you know you came in contact with this thing, it can shape your morale about it, right? If you have come in contact with COVID-19 and you didn't wind up hospitalized, you didn't wind up needing a ventilator, I think that that can help you with your psychological aspect of it. You got a
Don't
lot
you
of
think
people
it
that are
could start a false sense of security in that, oh, I'm
well,
invincible, this thing can't kill me?
no, I don't think it's a false. No, I disagree with that. I think the benefits outweigh the risk when it comes to people being tested at an antibody level, because you can get to see how widespread the infection was. You can get to see if this COVID-19 actually was as contagious as the media said it was. You can also start to give people peace of mind of knowing that I have come in contact with it. I still need to protect myself. It's still not a cure or a solution, but I can survive if I come in contact with it. I think that that's important. You got a lot of people that are depressed, anxious, anxiety. You got some people are dealing with it in different ways. Maybe for you it may not be that consequential, but for people that are germaphobes in the beginning, now they got their damn house saran wrap. They don't go outside. They say it's in the air. You know, you got a lot of people that are struggling with the COVID-19 pandemic in different ways. So I think the antibody test would be good to set people's mind at ease in certain ways.
I think the scientist in me says, of course, we need the data. Of course, we need it. We need to know all of those things. How widespread the virus is. Does it affect a certain group of people more than others? Was it really true that the elderly were the most vulnerable? We need to know those things. But
Right.
also the things that are making me hesitant to accept that is, this whole vaccine hunt and the fact that Bill Gates and several other people are on the TV talking about people are going to need certification of have they had the virus and not had the virus. Labeling people like that is very dangerous. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen it in Germany. We've seen it in when the Japanese were here and we had issues with World War I, World War II. Labeling people like that and requiring documentation is dangerous.
Yeah. Well, labeling people though. I mean,
It's so
what
easy
are we
though.
labeling them? What are we labeling them?
Oh, you've had it. You haven't had it. There's a lot of ways you can spin that and make that into a have and have not situation.
Hmm. Mm. I think well again we have to agree to disagree on that one too, because I do think that the benefits outweigh the risk. I think we as a country should take on the risk of that to understand how widespread the virus was. That's just my opinion on that. But I do respect your opinion on it. I think that in all things we got to weigh all options. You know what I mean? All options and all sides to whatever the situation is. What else you want to share with us, Shawnee's?
Then when you was talking about you gonna let them people come to your house, I had to come on here like, we ain't doing it. That's too much. See, I got my Moana cap on.
I hear you. What do you think about 2 Chainz? Since I got
Honestly, I didn't see him. If he spoke on TV or anything, I didn't see that. Okay. I did hear about it, and I just think that, especially because we went to Escobar. That place is small. Right. I personally would go right now.
Right. And for me, I was thinking it's more of a club than a restaurant. That's just me. It felt more of a lounge clubbish type music, live music.
Even during the day, like I've been there before when it wasn't so late at night, and it still was pretty hookah and drinking. Like it wasn't really a place I would take my mom to go have lunch. It's definitely not a restaurant, in my opinion, like that.
Yeah. I think he would have found himself in some trouble if he did reopen. So I'm glad he did not. He chose to not do it. I think it was pressure though from our people. And you know what I mean?
People are tired. People are restless. It's getting warm outside. I get that. We want to get back to our normal life. This is very stressful. But I think that we have to be smart.
Yeah.
We have to be smart about how we start to interact again with large groups of people.
All right, I got one more last question for you. What do you think our new normal is going to be? What do you think the new world is going to be?
I think this is going to vastly affect how we educate our children. Mm-hmm. I think this is going to vastly affect the work from home process, because I think a lot of people, I don't think it was very common for people to work from home, even with like office jobs and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think that this is going to open up new ways to allow people to work remotely, as well as how we educate our kids. I think it's going to expose a lot of the variables, like it's going to expose a lot of the disparities, because it's easy to say, all right, well, we'll just educate the kids on the internet. And then suddenly you realize that, like where I'm from in Chicago, over 700,000 students didn't have access to either a computer or the internet.
Yeah.
And so you start to see where we have failed. You start to see, Flint, Michigan, what's been 6 years? They haven't had clean water. And the main thing was it's too expensive. It's too expensive. And suddenly we've got all this money. We have veterans sleeping on the street since Vietnam. And suddenly we've got all this money. So I think that this is going to force us to hold our government accountable in ways that we haven't before. Right. Even some people that previously were huge Trump supporters, I think are going to see that, hey, this is not, where is that? He's made a lot of mistakes. And I think that this could have been fixed. It could have been avoided at this large scale had he acted sooner. And I think that it's going to really change even the way we interact with people on a day-to-day basis. You see people a lot less likely to be close or shake hands as a greeting. So I think we'll see a lot of changes in how we do different things in our country.
Right.
And I don't think it is a bad thing. Yeah. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Well, I guess we just got to brace ourselves for our new normal, and
what do you think?
I think that I think society is going to be different. I think that just the interaction, day-to-day contact is going to be different. But I am convinced to believe that hopefully we get some type of resolve by way of a vaccination, a therapeutic, a way to control this virus versus the virus controlling us. That is my hopes. I think that we have some very intelligent people. I think that despite all of the politics and all of the blame and this and oh you're wrong or you're right. I think that overall people are still working, scientists are still working, chemists and biologists are still doing their job, and I'm hoping that they will come to some type of resolve so that we can still live the life that we once lived. I think that a lot of people are, they're hypothesizing that this is going to be, just like you're talking about this schooling from home and all of these different things are going to become a norm. I don't think that that we could exist in this type of environment long term, right? Some of them, yes, like face mask and limited contact. But you got to think about human nature is human nature, and there's only going to be so much protection you can do from you not having a human experience anymore, right? Because there is something about humans: we touch, we see, we feel, our senses, right? So if you start to lose and compromise your senses, are you still human again? Still human in certain ways. So I think that the scientists are going to do a good job for our country and the world, and we will eventually get back to some type of norm, probably sooner rather than later, hopefully. But in the interim, I think that face mask will be just a general thing. Social distancing will be a thing that we all try to do. But I think that visiting your family, your friends. I mean, you can't balance. You can't. People aren't going to stop doing that, right? You're not going to stop visiting your friends and your families and your loved ones. There are certain things that people just aren't going to do, and they're going to accept the consequences that come with it. So I think that the medical side of things has to get to where we are as far as our anticipation of wanting to go back outside. Right now, we're that part is behind. Everybody's going to go outside. So once they finally get together, I think we'll be back the way we were. At least that's what I think. Now, how long that will be, when it will happen, I wouldn't even begin to estimate that. But I think that I refuse to accept basically that our country is going to accept this as the norm and as the reality. I don't think we would survive long.
I think that is probably very true. I think as Americans, our attitudes are a little bit different than we've seen how people have just complied before. So I do think that I don't see us remotely educating our kids forever, but I think it's going to show and the disparities that we have in some communities that you don't necessarily think of as having those problems.
Right. Yeah.
So I hope to see. Yeah. I hope to see some change from this. I hope to see that, because there are people who have lost, we've lost, I don't even know how many thousand people at this point. With the medical system that we have currently, those people's families are about to receive probably $1 million medical bill for, grandpa who died. And they're not going to be able to pay it.
Well, do you think they're going to actually do that?
Absolutely.
You think they're going to send out a bill for people that have passed away with COVID-19?
You have to pay your bill. Like, people's kids are dying. No. You have to pay the bill. Yes, you do.
I don't believe that, this is to me, I feel like this is if they do.
People's families are going bankrupt from paying for cancer treatments. You think they don't have to pay for those ventilators?
But cancer is different. Cancer is different from COVID-19.
Raymond, I guarantee you these people are receiving bills. How do you think the hospital keeps the lights on? How do you think they pay the doctors?
I'm looking down because I want to see the numbers real quick. You mentioned the numbers. I wanted this. So it's 56,521 deaths from COVID-19.
I guarantee you half those people doesn't have insurance.
Yeah, but that's going to be a good topic. I'm going to do some research on that, and maybe I'll do a video on that. Maybe we can talk about that. There has to be some relief with that.
Okay, so I'll share something else. I don't even know how many people are watching right now. You know that my brother passed away when I lived in Chicago from cancer. We had to pay his bills. We had to pay medical bills. You have to pay for when I had you had a baby. I just had a baby. You have to pay your medical bills. It doesn't matter what happens to you.
No, I get that.
If your husband or your wife dies in the hospital, you still have to pay the bill. whatever, every syringe, every gauze that they use to work on your family member has to be paid for.
Okay,
If you don't have insurance, your family's stuck.
right.
Now, if the government does something to help people that have died from this particular illness, I'd be surprised to see it.
Well, that brings up a good topic, Sharnice. I think I'm going to do some research on that. I think we all need to advocate. I mean, that's to me, I know that people die every day and people go to the hospitals every day, right? But I think that something like this, that nobody calls, you didn't, no way of life, none of that. And cancer is no way of life either. I mean, you just get cancer. It's not a behavioral thing. But I hope and pray that maybe there's some type of relief that the government comes up with, because I mean that brings up a good point. People, I mean, to me, I feel like they should pay them damn bills. I wouldn't pay them. They're gonna have to take me. They're gonna have to. I mean, they're gonna have to do something. I'm not paying nobody's medical bill that done damn died from this shit. I mean, excuse my language, but that's just my opinion. But
I wouldn't pay it neither.
I wouldn't pay it.
Then you got to think like, that's crazy. If your spouse dies in the hospital from this and they send you, I mean, that medical bill is going to be in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
You stay in hospital a week, you talking about probably $100,000.
Yeah, I just did a quick Google search and they said $75,000 a deal or something like that. I think we all need to definitely have that conversation versus we're talking about race and all this other stuff. I think people need to be talking about, some relief.
I don't think it's about race. It's about class. It's about if you have money.
Right. Well, when I said the race, I mean, when Governor Kemp opened up barbershops, and he opened up tattoo parlors and bowling alleys.
White people go to the barbershop. White people get tattoos.
Right.
White people probably bowl more than us. So
I definitely think they bowl more than us. But I'm just, you know what I mean? The barbershops, we go to the barbershop now. But
we do. But I think that it's more, like I posted in my comment, I feel like the people that were protesting, and I think Philadelphia was the place that you had commented on before.
Michigan.
Those people,
Michigan, Wisconsin, all of them, yeah.
Those people don't want to go back to work. Those people probably have office jobs. They want poor people to go back to work so that they have access to what they want. What are they saying? They want to get their hair dyed. They want to, I guarantee you that their hairstylist makes less money than them. They don't care about going back to work. They just want their servants in place. They want access to the things that they want to do. Period.
Gotcha.
Because if they get sick, they probably have the money to go and do whatever they need to do to get well. They probably also have life insurance, so that if they do die, their family's fine. Their hairstylist probably doesn't. And they don't care about that. They want access to the things that make them happy. Their social clubs, their hairstylist, their nail salon. I want to go to the nail salon too. I'm not even going to show my hands right now. I want to go to the nail salon too. But it's not worth my life. And to me, it's not worth the lady who does my nails life either.
Right.
But for them, that's the least of their worries. I honestly feel that way. And I don't think it has anything to do with black or white. I think it has everything to do with money. Because they have right now, we don't have like most poor people, working class people, they don't have the money to do what they need to do anyway. They don't have money for amenities. Only thing they have money for barely is their bills right now. Most people are not working.
Right.
Well, thank you. Take my $60 to go get my nails done right now, though.
I gotta get to the barbershop one of these days. I'm praying and I'm waiting for a couple weeks to see what these numbers look like, and we go.
So you're gonna go to the barbershop and get your hair cut?
I don't have a choice. My barber. Well, I could call my barber and see if he'll come do a house call. I bet he's been my barber for freaking 5-6 years. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm still deliberating that. I think that I believe that the coronavirus is real, and I believe that you gotta, take extra precautions to, not get exposed to it. But I do think that, we gotta, if I got on a mask, he got on a mask, I think you should be fine. That's just my thought on it. But you know what I mean? So
I think that's probably true.
Yeah. But I got a beard, so you gotta take the mask off for the beard.
It's for him to cut your beard, but then he would still be wearing his mask.
Right, that is true. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'll definitely be going up. I actually wanted to get him on here, and maybe one of these days he'll get on here. He'll talk about his experience. He was set to open on Sunday, and so hopefully he'll share what his experience has been being back in the shop. How has it been? Has people been complying with having on masks? You know, what has been the thing? I think the biggest issue is going to be compliance when it comes to opening these places back up. How many of them will comply with making sure people wear masks, making sure people social distance? But again, there are certain things you can't socially distance getting your haircut. You know what I mean? But you can social distance the guest. But the interaction between barber and client, I mean, it just is what it is. You know, so we'll see.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm letting somebody get that close to my face right now.
I hear you.
That's a real close. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I thank you for coming on, Shanice, and thank you for supporting my little streams and stuff. So it's just an outlet and talking about it and letting getting other people's opinions and seeing it from different perspectives. So thank you for coming on.
Sure thing.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are still watching or, yeah, we got a couple people still watching. Thank y'all for watching. That's going to wrap up the show for tonight. I think there are a lot of things that we have to consider in all things. So, yeah. So thank y'all for watching. Please head over to YouTube and subscribe to the New Wave channel. The link is in the comment section. On Facebook, if you're watching from Facebook, look up. You'll see the link to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go over there and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when I do other videos. Also, you can check out other content that I have there. From time to time, we invite guests up. If you ever see the link on there that says StreamYard.com / and then the series of characters, you can come on the screen with me like Shanice did, and we can have conversations. People can hear your perspective. The whole purpose of this channel is to get others' opinions and other viewpoints outside of the media, the regular media. So this is our own way of sharing our ideas and our viewpoints. So thank you for watching, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace. Also, if you are watching on Facebook, you will see I will post from my timeline a template that I'm going live and the time and what the topic will be. So if you see that, definitely come on in here and have some fun with me. Thank y'all for watching.